my name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Today I'm bringing you the very late January Q&A. So thanks to everybody who submitted questions on Instagram. If you don't follow me there, what are you doing? That's where I put outfits of the day and just share some funny things on stories. I show you how I style my bags, my shoes, my pieces that I buy. And if you're thinking of something that I've shown in a video and you're not quite sure how you would wear or style it, my Instagram is a pretty rich source of me playing around with bags. I don't always get it right, but if you're looking for some ideas or inspiration on how to style these pieces, that's where you should go. So I will link my handle in the description box below. I also received some questions on YouTube. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. On my community posts, you'll see where I put out polls and I'll invite you to suggest some video ideas or even ask me some questions for these videos. The community posts are only visible to people who subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you here more often, so please think about doing that. Our first question comes from Lisa from Luxury and Life in the Middle. Lisa has a great YouTube channel. She started not too long ago. She also loves Fendi. We have a few bags in common, so I'll link her in the description box below. Lisa says, have you thought about what bags you're going to take to Italy yet? So I have some exciting news. I said that I was definitely going to Italy this year and I've booked the tickets. So have I thought about what bags? I literally booked the tickets yesterday. I am going to Dubai and Italy and London. And so I've got quite a mix of things. I have a Prada unboxing coming, which is the bag that I've chosen for everyday no fuss travel, so stay tuned for that one. Subscribe if you want to see that one. But I'm not the kind of person that just takes one bag on holiday with me. Lisa would know this, and so in terms of bags I'll take, I would say there will definitely be a Chanel wok. I have one, so it'll be that one, because they're just so easy to travel with. But given that it will be warm weather when we go, I will be inclined to, really struggle, I think, in terms of what I might take from my collection. I really struggle not to take that Gucci wicker bag that you can see just behind my left shoulder there. I'd be crazy not to take a Fendi Baguette. I've got my Fendi First in raffia. I've got my big Fendi straw sunshine tote. That would be fun to take as well. There might be a whole carry-on bag just full of bags to take without any shopping that I do. So no, I haven't thought about it, Lisa, but just going through it then, I think that's going to be one of the hardest decisions I'll make in terms of what I pack. This one comes from the Bunny Diaries. What do you do for a living? Love your videos. You make me feel so positive. Thank you very much for saying that. I do YouTube just to connect with people who have a similar interest to me, so it's great that you feel connected in that way. I am a consultant. I work with leaders and organizations to work with people who they believe in, people who are really smart, people who are really inspiring, and my job is basically to help them sharpen the saw, to work on things that they think they need to work on to help them achieve goals. And I do that through coaching. I do that through designing leadership development programs for cohorts of leaders and teams. I do that through cultural change programs. I have a wonderful job. I feel very privileged to do it, and one of the great parts of my job is that every time I help somebody discover something new about something, that I can take that learning away as well. So yeah, that's my job. Eileen, hello Eileen. What was the last book you read? To be honest, I'm not a huge reader of books. That might make me intellectually less impressive than you might otherwise think I am. I have read a few books recently. I mainly read non-fiction, and I do love a good autobiography. I'm not someone who enjoys reading fiction, I would prefer to watch it because I'm a very visual person. So for me, the last books, I've given you more information than you asked for. I'm currently reading Spare. I've picked it up and put it down a few times. I'm not enthralled in it, by Prince Harry. One book that I absolutely loved, but in the same theme, was Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. I loved that it was autobiographical, but I more so loved the theme through it around green lights. And do yourself a favour if you are going to pick that up and download it as an audiobook with Matthew McConaughey narrating. It's brilliant. Okay, the next question from Bongo is 1. Thoughts on the Lanvin cat bag? Cat hobo. Can see one in your collection. You know what? I have looked at it quite a few times. I'll pop a picture up here for anybody who is not familiar with that bag. I think the only thing that puts me off those pieces is the fact that I don't get to see them in person here. It would be like an online thing, and I think I've mentioned a few times on my channel that for me, the luxury experience is not just getting the bag, which is why I don't buy a lot of pre-loved, I don't buy vintage. I want the whole experience. And so that might be a brand and a bag that I will look at when I'm overseas later this year, so that I can really get a sense of what it's all about. Scarabeige commented on the photo I put up for the Q&A, which I'll pop here, and she says, Carrie Bradshaw, is that you, girl? Yeah, she just dyed her hair and put on a few pounds, but I felt fantastic in that outfit. I loved this bag. This is the Jimmy Choo Bonbon fringe bag in fuchsia with the ombre fringe. Got my hand under there now. I actually agree with a lot of people who commented on my look that they think this bag was a better fit than the pink Fendi sequin baguette that I originally had for that outfit. Yeah, I tend to agree with you as well, but thanks for that. I'll take that as a compliment. I get a lot of inspiration from Carrie Bradshaw, the character, not necessarily Sarah Jessica Parker. Okay, the next one. Mo bags, please. Which bag would you grab if there was a fire and you only had time to take one? Well, there's a new bag in my collection that you may or may not have seen by the time this video goes live, and that's my made to order. So, yeah, that would be it at this point in time. If that video hasn't come out yet, because I just filmed it, then stay tuned. If it has come out, I will link it somewhere here for you. Kelly D. Slater, do you regret selling any of your bags, and how is life after Multicolour Baguette? So the first part of that question, do I regret selling any of my bags? No. I will be honest and say that my Chanel GST it did fill a gap in my collection, and now I'm looking for a replacement for that, a bag that's not monogram, for work particularly. So yeah, I still don't know if that was the right bag for me. I enjoy the hunt and looking for things, so I don't have regrets, but it has made life a little bit more difficult not having that bag in my collection. Life after my Fendi Multicolour Baguette, for those of you who don't know, just before Christmas, one of my subscribers, Susan, reached out to me and said, I heard you talking about potentially selling your Multicolour Baguette. I'm in Sydney, I'd love to buy it from you. For many reasons, that was a very attractive offer. I was going to sell it after Christmas. She knew the condition of the bag. I sent her some videos. We agreed on a price. I could post it straight away. She would receive it before Christmas. I would have the funds. Then immediately I contacted my sales associate and asked her to find the Mohair Baguette for me. And if you haven't seen that one, I'll link that unboxing in the description box below. But it was just too easy and because it was so easy, I have zero regrets. I don't miss that bag. I haven't gone to put an outfit together yet and gone, oh, it would have been perfect if only I had the Fendi multicolour baguette. So yeah, life is good because now I have some other treasures to enjoy. 408 California 408, fabulous Instagram page. If you love handbags, go check her out. I'll link her in the description box below. If you had to sell a bag in your collection today, which one would it be? Oh, on the selling. Okay, what would it be? I don't know if I can sell it or not, but I think the first one that comes to mind is my Hacker Project tote, just because it creates a bit of a conflict for me to actually pick it up and wear it. Even though I love it, I don't love what it symbolizes in terms of Balenciaga's, you know, disregard, I guess, for common decency at the moment. So it's this one. I love it. I think it's a great bag, but I just don't feel comfortable wearing it. So a lot of you in a previous video have actually said, you know, you bought it way before all of this happened. The fact it looks more Gucci, you know, it's fine. I'm not quite there yet. When you look around my collection, this kind of is the odd one out. It sits in a little display case over to the side of me so I can take care of it, but I keep it, I think, because it represents something, and I feel like if I ever change my mind it would cost me a fortune to get one back. But yeah, perhaps, you know, that would be a good one to sell as well. But at the moment I don't have any desire to sell anything. Golf Mama, do you treat your bags with anything, especially your large Fendi tote? I'll grab that. This is the bag that she is referring to. Do I treat it with anything? No, I don't. This bag has feet on it. It will still, I'm sure, get some rubs and some marks. It is starting to lose structure a little bit. It's one of the bags that I will get an organizer from Zoomoni. They've extended my discount code for bag organizers and offered to send me a couple in return. So I have asked them for one for this Sunshine Shopper. I don't treat it with anything. I'm not going to. I don't treat any of my bags with anything. The side trunk has a lot of vachetta around the outside and also on the straps, but it seems to be treated already. And my good friend Jean from Totes Jean, who also has a YouTube channel, I will link him in the description box below, he's been caught in the rain with his side trunk and he says that he thinks it's treated because the water just beads right off. So yeah, I just think if I've got to then treat bags that have been made to carry things, like they are practical items, some of them, then yeah, it's in my mind it's not necessary. I know for a lot of people it is, but I don't do it. That was quite a tangent, sorry. 408 California 408, if you had to buy a black bag right now, which one would it be? I think I've mentioned on my channel that I'm interested in looking at Louis Vuitton's Carryall MM. It's like a chic hobo in like an emprunt in black. I see that potentially being a replacement for my Chanel GST work bag. Fits a 13-inch laptop. Fits the other bits and pieces that I would need. I like the fact that I could wear it crossbody as well as quite high up on the body, under the arm. I don't usually like hobo style bags, but this one I think is very chic, and I've been looking at it on TikTok a bit and I really like it. KL Jocelyn, are there new colours, silhouettes you want to add to your wardrobe since taking your styling class? Great question. Yeah, and the other day I played around with some of those. I'll put that outfit up here. These are a pair of straight leg linen to the floor pants. I can't remember last time I wore long to the floor pants with an oversized linen blazer. This is a look that I really enjoyed wearing, even though it was so hot that day. I really enjoyed that kind of oversized kind of relaxed look, and I kind of liked the monochromatic look as well. So that's kind of a silhouette in pants and blazers that I've tried. I always thought oversized things would make me look bigger, and sometimes they do. Oversized t-shirts, not a vibe for me, but the oversized blazer is a really good cut and works really well, and it draws attention down to my legs, which I prefer, than my butt. The straight leg pants, yes, lots of reasons to love those. It's taken me a little while to get around to those. In terms of colours, you will have seen me be wearing a lot of this kind of pink. So this fuchsia pink, these dark kind of jewel tones, greens as well. They were highlighted as an area that worked for my colouring, but that I didn't necessarily buy. And every time I wear hot pink, like my Versace robe, I'll put a picture here, that the lovely Living Lux with Meredith, who also has a fabulous channel I'll link below, she bought that for me. The dress I wore to her wedding, every time I wear that colour, you guys tell me it really works for me. So it's something that I will, you know, push myself to look at more. Geraldine J. Vance. Hi, Geraldine. Is it okay for YouTubers to do style videos with items they return? I think that YouTubers can do any content that they want as long as they are transparent with their audience about how they obtain the goods and what they are going to do with them. There is nothing that I hate more when people pretend that they have loved a bag that is potentially hyped, buy it online because they know that they can return it in 30 days. Make a video of the unboxing. Make a video of the what fits inside and styling ideas. Make a video some months later about why that bag didn't work for them. Not when they actually return it in the returns period. Like, we don't all know that you just bought it to make content and then sent it back in the returns period. Just say that. If people are watching your channel for inspiration on how to style new bags or new styles of clothing, then I think it's okay. And I know that a lot of YouTubers do this particularly well. So Sophie Showhead is one, I think Mel in Melbourne is one, where they'll buy a heap of bags from, say, Farfetch or My Teresa for under $1,000 and say, hey, here are all the bags for under $1,000, I'm going to show them to you. And then they send them all back. They don't keep them. But they haven't hidden that fact. I think it's the same for clothing. You know, people do these massive ASOS hauls and Iconic. I don't really watch those. But I think if your job is to create content and there is a returns window, why wouldn't you take advantage of that? But don't tell your subscribers you're actually buying this stuff and you're keeping it and you're wearing it, and then 6 months later, this is why I returned this thing. I think that that's telling fibs, and it's disingenuous, and we're not fools. So that's my answer. Living Fash. Hi, Chen. Hello, Dale. Will you stop your handbag addiction one day? Anything is possible, Chan, but at this point in time, I say no deal. Carolina D'Souza. Who is your style inspiration? That is a great question. I have a few style inspirations, I guess. And when I say inspiration, it's not necessarily it's different things, all right? So Carrie Bradshaw, the character, love. I guess, say that Patricia Field is my style inspiration there. How she sees colour and silhouette and texture and playfulness and fun and also sophistication, the mix of prints, like so many things I've learned from the Sex and the City series, particularly Carrie Bradshaw, because I relate to the playfulness. That's why I do not share the same body type. I cannot get away with a lot of the things that character can for a myriad of reasons, but I can take inspiration and try things that I wouldn't ordinarily try, and usually I love them. one of my earliest outfits that I think was inspired by Sex and the City was back in the early 2000s, the first time long cargos kind of came around, and I had a pair of, they would have been like mid-shin cargo shorts, so like a cargo pant with a really high crop. And I wore those with a pair of strappy sandals that wrapped around my ankles, and a singlet and like a chunky belt and a little shoulder bag. I don't have pictures of that. It was a tonal look, but it was such a vibe, and so many people complimented me on it. And the next time that I went out in this small town, there were women wearing their cargos the same way. So that's, you know, one of my earliest examples of, you would never have worn heels and, you know, cargo shorts before, and it looked great. So Jennifer Connelly is one of my style icons. Again, we have little in common. She has very straight hair and very straight sculptural features. I don't, but I do love the looks that she wears when she is in public out on the red carpet. I love how edgy they are, but also feminine at the same time. And for me, I think my done but undone style lends itself to, when something looks a little bit too pretty, I like to make it a little bit ugly, a little bit mean, a little bit, I like to throw the balance off. And I feel like, especially when she's dressed by Louis Vuitton, that they get that balance right all the time. Other style icons, Diane Keaton, how that woman has forged her own look. She even carries it into some of her characters in the movies that she's in, with her amazing androgynous style. You know her look, and if I lived in a cooler climate, the things I would do would be so different to what I'm limited to living in a very subtropical climate. And Carolina also asks, have you looked into the Kib body types? If so, which one are you? I haven't looked into the Kib body types, but when I did my styling course, my body type, based on my measurements, is an hourglass on the verge of a rectangle. So my shoulder measurement and my broadest hip measurement are the same, and they're more than 8 centimeters wider than my waist measurement. So that's what makes me an hourglass. If I didn't have such a difference between that measurement and my waist, I'd be more rectangular. Carolina also asks if I can show her what my Fendi O-Lock chain looks like on my Violetta Peekaboo. Carolina was the one who sent me the picture on Instagram and inspired me to do this little shot. How nice is that as a look? Ooh! So thank you for sharing that picture with me, because yeah, I really love that look. So I'm not sure if you would just put it on as like a bit of decoration, because I don't think you would use it like that. But there it is on the front. I will put one on the back as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks cute across there. I'm not sure the functionality that it would bring, but there you go. And Carolina again, what could Hermes change about their bags that would entice you to get one? I'm pretty sure that I could put this question, I could pin this question in the comments and you all could answer it for me. I think if Hermes were to make the changes that I would want, potentially it wouldn't be Hermes anymore. I think that they have a particular aesthetic and it appeals to all sorts of people, even people who, you know, love bags like this, love Hermes bags as well. So I don't think you're either in one camp or the other. For me, there's no feeling. I have zero emotional reaction whenever I see one. If there's any reaction, it's confusion. Confusion around why I don't see what other people see. Yeah, I don't have an answer. This bag lady, what do you think of the Loewe Ghibli collection? Anything you like from there? I don't think anything about it. I don't follow any of it. I'm not interested in it at all. And even Connor and I had this conversation because I really like playful, funny, silly things, but for some reason Loewe just hasn't struck me yet in the bag department. I really appreciate J.W. Anderson's designs, but not to buy, not for me. And then adding this collaboration, no. I have no connection to it, so I'm not remotely interested. The Thick Titan. Hi Chris, have you ever met anyone famous? I've met like Australian famous people, but I don't think you would call them internationally famous, so there would be no point in listing them. Maybe the only person that other people might know is Megan Hess, the fashion illustrator. I've met Megan Hess just at an event, but yeah, I haven't. Everyone else has been like footballers and local celebrities, which they wouldn't mean anything to people outside of Australia. I'm not sure how to pronounce this username, but I'm going to go Iconza. A request, trunks update. Collection, how's it going with your flower trunk and is it worth it? That is a great question. I will do a video for you on that one. Almighty_GG, since when did you become obsessed with luxury bags? Was there a triggering event? In terms of becoming obsessed with luxury bags, I think the triggering event came when I bought my first one. From the boutique. I got divorced. I got paid my bonus from work very closely to when my divorce went through, and for the first time I had disposable income and I didn't have to consult with a soul about what I spent it on. The first up was Canturi the jeweler, and I bought the Cubism ring that I had been looking at in the window every day I walked past for work, just, you know, thinking one day I'll get one of those. And in terms of luxury bags, the second place that I dropped into was Louis Vuitton, where I bought a white Epi Speedy 35 Classic. I know, it's a ridiculous first luxury bag, but the whole experience of shopping for that piece, I definitely did not want monogram. That experience was one that I thought I would just love to do this again. And now, look at me. And that was back in 2011. Forever Rosebud. Hi Kat. Been feeling a little blue lately. Any suggestions on how to get good vibes back? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, babe. I didn't look at these questions before I did this video, otherwise I would have reached out earlier. Look, when I feel blue, I just withdraw. I don't want to engage with anyone, and I think the best way to fill your cup when you're on your own is to do things that are self-nurturing. So eat the food that you want to eat. If you enjoy facials and like just taking care of yourself, do something nice, like have a facial or exfoliate or moisturize, like do something caring and nourishing for yourself. And then the other thing I think around feeling blue is if you don't want to talk about it, I think that's okay personally. I'm not someone who likes to talk to other people a lot when I'm feeling blue. I just like to take a moment and have some quiet time. But if you're someone who really benefits from talking, then reach out to a friend and just say, hey, I'm not feeling myself at the moment. Can we talk? Always putting music on helps me, but I tend to lend myself to, when I'm feeling blue, to more blue music, which kind of just digs me deeper into the hole. I don't know about other people. If you have any suggestions to help Kat get out of her blueness, pop them in the comments box below. Lizzie C. Hi, Lizzie. I think your Jimmy Choo bag at Lux's wedding was 100%. Did Mr. Addiction feel the same? Mr. Addiction has not passed any comment on my Jimmy Choo bag. And as you know, I don't ask him for his opinion. And so until such time as I do and he gives it to me, we will never know. Liv4 asks, how's the side trunk going? Is the hardware holding up well? Must wear if you're able to tell. I don't know what that last bit means, but so far, you won't believe it, but I have no scratches on the hardware. And you know that I've worn this bag quite a bit, so yeah, so far so good. I really enjoyed wearing it around Sydney. I hung it underneath the makeup counter when I was getting my makeup done, and they were like bashing, you know, excess product off brushes, and I'm like, oh god, that wasn't such a good idea. I just gave it a wipe over. It's fine. It's great. It's a good bag. Liv also asks, what are your thoughts on the LV Lilac Kusan? That bag is a dream. Funny that I'm wearing lilac today. I'll pop a picture of it up here. Couple of things I don't like about it, Liv, and the colour is not one. The colour is divine. I think the PM size is too big. I don't like flat colour in anything, and because it's one of those smooth kind of embossed bags, debossed bag, is that what it is? There's too much flat smoothness for me. I love my texture. I think in a BB size I'd definitely be keen to see it, and if they did the BB size with the chunky chain, and then they did those perspex inlays in lilac on the chain, that would be a vibe. But I am happy to hold on the PM size, and I think there's also a wok size as well. But yeah, you're not the first person to raise that bag with me, and I'm keeping a watching brief to see if the BB size does come in. Lexi, hi Lexi. What's your favourite jewellery type? If you could only wear rings, earrings, necklaces or bangles? I think rings, Lexi. I think rings are my favourite type because I can actually see them. I think a lot of jewellery, when you wear necklaces and earrings, other people can see them, but unless you have a mirror, you can't see them. Whereas your rings, I really enjoy wearing my rings, and for some reason, even though I've bought rings that go on other fingers, I really just prefer to wear rings on my ring fingers. So this is my Canturi stack, and these are Regina and Radiance rings. Also Canturi, my newly set wedding ring. I showed you my cubism before. This one was made to actually fit on my middle finger, but I don't want to wear it next to this other stack, so I kind of just alternate that. There's a ring on here which doesn't fit anymore, and I can't get resized, and so I always keep it around my neck. Love rings. Yeah, if I could only wear one type, it would be the ring. Trying to get this finished before my battery runs out. Okay, Fifi Fontana. How was Meredith's wedding? I hope you all had a fabulous time. Well, we didn't actually go to Meredith's wedding ceremony. We went to the reception. The wedding ceremony was private, but the party, the reception that we went to was fantastic. We were at a beautiful venue in Sydney. I don't want to ruin too much because I know that Meredith might be sharing some information. Let me just say this. The guest list, amazing, fun people. The dress code was fabulous and formal, and people showed up. I've never seen so many sequins and sparkles at a wedding. It was fabulous. The food was impressive. The view was unreal. The bride and groom were a vision, and they were so generous and so thoughtful in how they had decorated the space and how they had chosen the menu, right down to the gifts for the guests. And yeah, I'm super glad that I've been able to meet Meredith, that I was honoured to be invited to her wedding party, and yeah, I just think they're a wonderful couple, and I wish them all the very best. Erin, Miss Storm Erin, is your sequin dress you wore to the wedding uncomfortable? Erin, the dress is not uncomfortable when you're just walking around and wearing it. It's actually very comfortable. But when you sit on sequins, it's like sitting on crushed glass. When you sit down, there is a lining in the dress, but it's just not enough protection between you and all of these sequins digging into your backside and the back of your legs. That bit hurt, but after a while you just forgot about it and thought about different things. Go to your happy place. But as Nick and I were talking about in our recent collaboration on personal style, you can't have it all. Sometimes fashion is pain. And a couple of questions from Nick J. Snell. Hi Nick. Nick has a great YouTube channel, and what a great segue. Nick says, what's the most valuable piece of advice you've ever been given? That trust is to be earned. I think that one comes from my father, and he doesn't trust easily at all. I am a little bit more of a Dangerous Minds Michelle Pfeiffer type, where I'm like, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. But I'm very thoughtful around how much trust I extend to people and how I observe them when they're put in positions of trust with others. Nick, the brand you love to hate. Gucci. Gucci just does my head in. I can go into Gucci and just be mesmerized by the designs, yet I can never buy anything because I just think it can be too far the other way. It can be too vintage looking. It can be too conservative. It can be too leery, especially under Alessandro Michele. I think under new creative direction, Gucci might be different for me, but yeah, I have a few Gucci pieces, and it's been very hard for me to buy Gucci pieces because I just find it so overwhelming. So yeah, good question, Nick. These next set of questions were from my YouTube community page, where I popped this post as well. So much design with Hannah. Hi Hannah, she has a YouTube channel as well. I'll link her in the description box. Which bags are next in terms of the chopping block or sale? What is your handbag wish for this year? Now that you have taken out the pink Jimmy Choo bag, what are your thoughts on it? All the best, H. I think I've answered the sale question already. In terms of my handbag wish for this year, well, I've already got it. My MTO from Fendi, it has come, and I'm very happy with it, so that was really important to me. I am traveling later this year, so I'm going to keep an open mind and see what comes about. I would love to buy a handbag to commemorate this trip. I always like to buy a handbag when I go overseas, so we shall see. I love the Jimmy Choo bag. Actually, I could wear it with what I'm wearing right now. I think it's definitely a vibe. It didn't even get stuck to the sequins. A few people were concerned that the fringe would get stuck in my sequins, and it didn't. It fits a lot, and yeah, I think it's definitely a vibe. I've got so many statement type bags now, it's really hard to get dressed for anything. Jen Morrow, hi Jen. If you're thinking about traveling this year, where are some of the areas of the world you're considering? Also, what color of a bag do you not have and you're thinking of purchasing? So I've answered the travel question, Jan. A color that I don't have and I'm thinking of purchasing. I don't know. I don't think there is a color that I want that I don't have. Yeah. I don't know. I've given up on greys. Greys just don't work for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is one, Jan. Sandra_W, would you ever consider to buy a vintage Fendi Baguette if it would be very special and in pristine condition? Yes, I would. The vintage Fendi Baguette that I actually wanted was the original release of the mirror embroidery baguette that I bought from the recent re-edition celebrating 25 years of the Fendi Baguette. So this is the new version, and I would love to buy the vintage version in great condition in this colorway. The first ones that came out in 1999, I think, were a different colorway that I didn't like so much. I really love the pastel colors of that one. So that would be the one that I would definitely have on my mind. There are a lot of lovely ones, but I don't have a connection with them, and I don't wear bags over my shoulder. So yeah, I see a lot on Una's Instagram that I love, but not enough to buy. Vivi, for me, do you use defenders with your peekaboos? I'm torn on whether to get one. I have one defender, and I have hardly used it since I sold my black peekaboo, especially. I just don't think I'll use this on my white one. I actually think I might sell this peekaboo this defender, sorry, to be honest. It's for a peekaboo mini. I loved it on my black one. I sold my black one, and I meant to sell the defender with it as an option, and I totally forgot about it. I like defenders. I think they're fun, especially the ones with the pockets and some of the old seasonal ones. So I think it's just a personal preference. T. Majid, have you ever bought a bag you loved and then the same bag comes out in an even better size or colour? What have you done in the past? Sold and repurchased? No, I don't think I have any regrets. I'm not a settler. I made a video recently saying pretentious me, why I won't settle with luxury, and I think that video probably answers this question in a very long format, but the short version is no, I tend to wait until something comes that I prefer. I'm not a settler. I won't just make do, if that makes sense. Sarah, hi Sarah. What bag or brand do you recommend to someone starting their collection? I don't think that there is one bag or brand that I could possibly point you to without knowing anything about you. I think if there is a brand that you really feel a connection with, that every time you see it you just go, oh, I really love that, that's interesting to me, I think that's where you should go. And in terms of the style, I think something that you could wear every day, something that has some versatility in how you wear it, so you can wear it crossbody, on the shoulder, handheld. Detachable, adjustable straps are really important for first-time bags, and something where you won't ruin it quickly. So something that's a little bit more robust, a pebbled leather, for example, or a coated canvas, something that you're going to get good wear out of. Rebecca Brailsford, hi Beck. What makes your heart sing? Just being myself, being my authentic self, and feeling like I can around beautiful people who are just trying to do the same thing, Beck. I think that's when I really feel happy, when you're not being guarded and you're not worried that people are judging you, and you are, being your unapologetic self and everyone else around you is. That's a really lovely place to be in your life. And when I met Beck, it was at my Fendi event, and I think a lot of us felt that way that night, that we were amongst friends and we could actually be ourselves for once and not have to apologise for the fact that we were waxing lyrical about handbags. Kaylee Carroll, the penultimate question, Kaylee. Any bags from a brand you haven't bought yet catch your eye? Are you trying to convince Connor to take you with him when he goes to Paris in May? There's a few bags that I am constantly intrigued about. I just don't know if I'd ever buy. Lanvin is one, Bulgari, Bottega. They're things that I feel like I would align with, but I just haven't found a style, size or colorway that really connects with me yet. So I'm waiting for that to happen. And my cup of tea, hi Chantel, do you like camping and have you done it? Do I like camping? It's not my favorite thing in the world to do. I have done it a lot. I have lived in regional areas of Australia for most of my life, and camping has been a big part of social activities because there's not much else to do. And so from a young age, my family had a caravan, and my sister and I used to stay in a tent because we wanted our independence when we would go away on school holidays. So that was from a very young age. And then in my 20s, when I lived very remotely, camping and fishing were things that people did for fun because there just literally wasn't anything to do. We would find these beautiful remote beaches with not a soul on them, like not a soul. And if you came across a soul, then you moved to the next beach. And we literally slept in a swag and had a shovel to dig a hole to do your business. Like it was very, very non-glamping camping. But we had so much fun. You couldn't swim in the beach because there were crocodiles and all sorts of things, but you know, it was nice to be beachside. My husband loves camping with his family, and you know, big camping things at Easter and what have you. Again, it's not my favorite thing, but when I'm there, I enjoy it. I make the best of it. You have to live, and if I never went camping again, I think I'd be sad. But I definitely don't camp in a basic way anymore. I do enjoy having some creature comforts. So choosing the time of year that you camp is important. Having good bedding and good food, and you know, the way that we have fridges, camping fridges and things like that make life a lot easier. But there's nothing like the first shower when you get home after you've been camping. It's just, you cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. So yeah, thanks for that question. I'll pop some pictures in of me in my camping out here. But thanks so much for everyone's questions. This has been a bit of an epic video. Hopefully I can edit it down. Otherwise, it's just one of those things you put on in the background. I hope it gives you an opportunity to get to know me a bit better, who you're subscribing to, in addition to just, you know, showing you handbags that I've bought. So yeah, if there's anything that you want to ask, keep an eye out for the next post for my Q&A for February. It won't be too far away by the time you see this one. As I said, it's on my Instagram stories, so subscribe to me on Instagram if you don't already, or follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to me here on YouTube so you can see my community posts when I will put up those opportunities for you to ask questions. And give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. I'd love to see you back for my next one, usually a Wednesday or Sunday. Until then, ciao for now.